Hey beauty, before you jump into today's episode, I want to invite you to First You Boundaries for Joyful Holidays. This is happening on Thursday, November 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Check the show notes to save your spot and invite your besties. What happens when every memory of who you were disappears? My guest today experienced a traumatic brain injury in just 15 that erased her entire past. Every friendship, moment, every piece of her story, it was gone. And yet, what followed was a journey of recreation, resilience, and rediscovering joy through storytelling. Midlife butterfly, a woman in the sacred in between. She's not who she once was, and not quite who she's becoming yet. She's unraveling, awakening, remembering. She's navigating life transitions, divorce, loss, reinvention, moves, with a burning desire for freedom, joy, and soul-led living. She feels the pull to rise, to fly. She is no longer afraid of her own wings. Welcome back to the Midlife Butterfly podcast. This is your host, Kenneth Yu. And it's my honor to have one more time with me one of my pod sisters, Jen Chambers. She's going to share her story. And well, Jennifer Chambers is a writer, a publisher, and the host of two podcasts, Beyond the Margins with Jen Chambers and Same Crime, Different Time. She's a TEDx organizer, a graduate of the Iowa Summer Writing Program, and is dedicated to helping others share their stories. Welcome back, Jen.
Thanks for having me. It's always such a joy to talk with you.
Likewise. It's such a pleasure having you here. So I would like you to start by telling me and our audience, if you want to take us back to that moment when your memory actually was erased, that what was it? Like, what happened?
Okay. So I was 15 and I'm from a very small town in Oregon. And so on Friday nights, what everyone does is go to the football games. So I was 15 and there was two cars of us that were coming home from a football game. And we didn't know, but the two drivers of the cars decided to race. So I was sitting in the middle of the back seat of the car that I was in. There was 5 people in the car and I was in the middle. And I mean, I've been told, this is all stuff that people told me afterwards, of course, but I've been told that they think that we went anywhere between 70 and 90 miles an hour on this gravel road. And then we spun out and rolled over 6 times and landed on a fence post and upside down. And I was the person that landed on the fence post. So thankfully, I was the worst hurt. Nobody died, thank goodness. But it's really interesting because I was from such a small town. Everybody, literally, the boy who was in the front seat, his dad was the volunteer fire chief. So we knew everyone who came. They knew us, who came to help us. So every person had their own ambulance, and it must have been so traumatic for them. I always feel so badly for them because here we are teenagers and oh my gosh, it's so scary. But thankfully the boy in the front seat was able to get out and his arm was cut and he walked about a mile across a big field and down highway to try and get us help. And I mean, it's just like a movie. He was like dripping blood and no one would stop. And finally, he had to knock on doors for people to believe him. And he was able to get us help. And that's why I'm alive. So I'm very grateful that he was able to do that. But then my parents got that 3:00 in the morning phone call that nobody wants to get, and got to the hospital, and I had died in the ambulance a couple of times because my brain injury, they had to cut me out with the jaws of life of the car. So it's like a big can opener that like opens the car like a can.
Wow.
And
you were in a movie, literally. Oh my God.
Yeah, right? Totally.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so when my parents got to the hospital, they brought them pretty much right to the chapel because they thought that I was, dying. And because I kept going in and out. And this is the crazy part of my story. Well, one of the crazy parts. There's a lot of them. But so my parents are in the chapel and a nurse comes in and she's like, hey, we want you to know that she's, we're doing the best we can, but we can't get the swelling down in her brain because when you have an accident like that, it's kind of like you're shaking up a soda bottle and your brain is like bouncing around the inside of your skull.
Okay.
And that's what happens with my kind of brain injury. And because, yeah, which is crazy. But, and the other funny thing is like, you don't know, I didn't know, the inside of the brain isn't smooth. It has like little bony parts. So different parts of my brain were like sheared off, like cut off, inside.
It has a lot of bones, the brain.
Swelling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I really didn't know until I had to.
Well, me recently.
Right.
Yeah.
So my parents were in the chapel there and the nurse said, so we have two things we can do. Our last option is to drill into her skull and put in a shunt, which is basically like a big pressure release valve that would have been in the back of my skull. And that might bring down the swelling, but it might not. And we'd have to basically after that, they'd have to do like open brain surgery, but they really didn't want to do that. And she said, so this is a funny thing. There is a guy, one of our surgeons just got into the ER and he is a brain surgeon. He was at a brain surgery conference and he has this experimental drug that he could give your daughter and bring down the swelling. And we just need your permission to try that before we drill into your daughter's skull. So my parents were like, okay, great. They said yes. Yeah. And the doctor gave me the drug. And the craziest part is after I recovered, and it took quite a while, but there's no record of who the man was or what drug they gave me. I went back to the hospital the first time I was trying to write my story, and nobody knows who he was or what it was or. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
How come you don't have a name? I mean, you have a surgeon at the hospital and you don't have a name? That was literally your angel from somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. And part of it was, I mean, they had transferred the records over from the hospital to the new hospital, and I'm sure it was just lost in translation. So I'm sure it's out there, but I haven't been able to find it in like 30 years, and I've looked a lot. So
I'm sure you have done your research because I mean, you're a storyteller. I mean, you're right. You're an author. I'm sure you've done.
But so it's kind of an amazing mystery, and I'm okay leaving it that way because it just makes me feel more like it was meant to be, I guess.
It definitely was.
So after that, I really, it erased everything. So I woke up in the hospital, and when you wake up from a brain injury, you don't really, like pop your eyes open like they do in the movies. You wake up and then go to sleep and then wake up. I was in a coma. So I went back and forth, and it's funny. I've talked about it more with podcast hosts than I have ever talked about it, but I had an experience where, and I know it sounds super woo-woo and super crazy, but I had a white light experience in that time when I was in a coma. So they tell me it was one of the times probably that I had died, but I had this vision of a long black hallway. And then I could see up ahead, there was like a circle in the roof of this hallway. And there was a long ladder coming down and light coming out of the hole down into the hallway. And this voice comes out and it says, you can choose, you can stay here, or you can go back to your life. And if you go back, there will be pain, but you can choose to go back to your life, or you can stay here. It's up to you. And I didn't have one of those, like your whole life flashes in front of your eyes and you're like, I have so much to live for, or anything like that. I just knew that I wasn't done. And it blink of an eye, like I came back and I woke up, and for the final time, I came back. And it just took me so long to talk about that because it sounds so crazy. And but it was real for me. That's really what happened. And I'm not a religious person, so that's why I also didn't want to talk about it a lot, because I didn't know what to attribute it to, or, you know, whatever's out there, decided I wasn't done. But it also made me feel really good that I had some ownership over it, right? And
Yeah,
I was
you
able
chose.
to, yeah. And I feel like that has helped me in my entire life afterwards. That
Like in
the
which
ability,
way?
yeah, the ability to choose things helps me reframe almost every decision and every feeling. You know, if I'm having a bad day, obviously everyone's allowed to do that. Or if I don't like the way that something's going, you know, I try and give myself a minute to feel that, and then remember that I can choose another way.
Yes.
And it's really helped me a lot. A lot.
Well, it gives you freedom, right? I mean, in a way, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes probably the two options we have might not be the best, but at least you get to choose something.
Yes. Yeah. And you can always pick something else afterwards, but like there's always some part of ownership that I can take of anything that is happening to me. And it's really easy when you have a chronic illness like brain injury, or I have another chronic illness, to feel like, you know, it's not fair. And it's not fair, but it's not fair for anyone. And so instead of believing that part and just being like that, you know, the poor me feeling, that's not useful, right? Yeah, the victim. It's not helpful, because that doesn't get you anywhere. So it took a really long time. It took a couple of years, really, to start. You know, I had to relearn how to walk and how to speak and how to read and how to eat. And I'm still not perfect.
But I mean, is anyway.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
But I still have some complications. Half of my body was paralyzed, so when I get tired, my face is droopy. It was like the whole right half, which is interesting. Yeah, so that means that then it was this side that was impaired at that time.
Yeah, the left side.
The left side.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. So it's you know, it's very visible sometimes, and I have to use a cane sometimes because my leg doesn't work quite as well. My hip was broken and my shoulder was separated on that side. So, you know, I have some physical complications, but nothing extreme. I mean, the fact that I was able to come back this well, it was really a lot of luck too. I was born at the very first, or born, I guess. I was injured at the very kind of like the beginning of when people used to survive. Before that, when people got brain injuries, they would often be institutionalized because they didn't have the medicine up to date to help them. Always. Okay. You know, as a whole, the time when I was injured in the early 90s, you know, so many things were happening in medicine, and so many different kinds of treatments and all different kinds of stuff made things easier for me. So, I mean, I can't take ownership of it all. But and I had incredible help. I had speech therapists and occupational therapists and therapists and physical therapists. I had so much help. And learning to take the help was really hard. I really didn't like it. I did not like that. I still don't like it.
Yeah. But I guess more as a teenager, when it's, you know, I guess it's one of the seasons or chapters in life that we want to be more independent, and then now have to start. So basically you were like a baby?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't recognize my family. Like, I didn't know anyone in my life. I didn't know my own name. And that was really weird because I had to believe everyone else, because I didn't have anything
that's true.
You know, for a long time. You know, all these people are And it's not that they weren't being kind to me. I woke up at a hospital, and when I
Mhm.
woke up for the final time, I was restrained and tied to the bed because I was thrashing around a lot. That happens with, I know that now. So I was like, I woke up and I'm tied to the bed and I don't know who these people are or where I am. And it was just so terrifying. Like a baby, like you're saying. It was just, I didn't know anything, or I thought I was being taken prisoner. I didn't know what was going
What
on.
was going on?
Right. And
Yeah.
and now, of course, I recognize nobody go to that kind of trouble. Really. But it lasted for a long time. Like I would go, they let me go home for visitations. I lived in the hospital for about 6 weeks, and then I went back daily for about 6 or 8 months after that. And I would go back to my family home, and I'd see all these pictures on the wall, and I didn't recognize any of them. I didn't recognize my bedroom or the farm that I grew up on or anything. So I would just nod and, okay, you say those are my relatives. All right. Because I
Yeah.
didn't believe anyone. And I don't think I hid it very well, but I thought I was being so stealthy.
Yeah. But it must be
But
very, very hard because it's like it's an identity that is just gone. And then you have everyone who wants to put attention, who wants to welcome you, who wants to cheer you up and helping you to remember at the same time. I think it should be very overwhelming.
it was. It was. And I mean, my injury was kind of a blessing in that way because you literally can't function for very long periods of time. I had to sleep a lot right afterwards. So I could only handle, and stretch it out. But at the very beginning, it would be an hour, and then I'd have to go take a nap. Or even when I was able to go back to school, to high school, they were able to structure my day so I could take a nap in the middle because my brain just got overloaded. I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Just nothing, nothing would go past a certain point. And I didn't have seizures. I had a few seizures afterwards, but not tons. Nothing that was terrible. But it's interesting you say that about other people, because the thing that I felt the most was that every person had their image and idea of who I was. And I was trying to mirror that to them because I didn't recognize it.
Whoa.
So, like, I'm one person to my mom, and I'm one person to my dad, and I'm one
Yeah.
person to my best friend, and one person to the boy I used to like in school, and they all come and
Yeah.
visit me. And I just kind of learned to really put on a good mask
Yeah.
because I had no clue.
Wow. This is very impressive because I mean, with time, we do it unconsciously, right? We don't know that we are wearing those masks.
Right.
But at that time, you were very like conscious, like, okay, my father treats me this way, so I'm gonna wear these masks. My mom treats me and talks to me this way, so I'm gonna be this person.
Hmm?
Wow. And how is it that, or I don't know, what did it took, or how long did it take you to start then recognizing the real you by whoever, I mean, after removing those masks, but then also not having any background because your memory didn't kept anything. So
Right. So, yeah, I couldn't match it up, right, at all. I couldn't. None of it made sense to me. Like, I still feel badly for my parents because, they'll talk about some trip we went on all together as a family, and it was a wonderful time, but I have no clue.
yeah.
They understand, but I still feel badly. It took a really long time. I still have a hard time trusting myself because I don't have that memory to go back on. So I have to really, really listen to the deep yeses and the deep nos to kind of wiggle my way to the right answer and the right me.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time. It took a long time. But I think I just have to really sometimes take time, just take a second, process things so that I
Yeah.
can see if it matches up or doesn't match up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of.
But kind of thinking more with your body and to see what your body is telling you because your mind doesn't remember most of the, not most, right? I mean, at that time, those things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's interesting too, because the body, there's so many feelings stored in the body. For me, when I get overwhelmed, I tend to get sick because like I have a lowered immune system because of not just my brain injury, because of my autoimmune disease. And so I think that so often, like once a year, around the month around the anniversary of my accident, I get sick because like my body just, even though I try not to remember the exact date, every so often, like every couple of years, I'll make a big deal and I'll be like, oh, it's my anniversary day, and do something nice. I used to be really angry at that day. Like that's the day my life was ruined, not the day my life was saved.
Makes sense.
And
But it's the grieving process, right?
yeah,
The
totally.
anger at one
Totally.
point, yes.
Yes. So it's funny because no matter how I try and feel about it, my body tells me that it's okay. You're going to feel those feelings at that time, that during that month, during those few weeks around. It's September 26th of the day. So I'm learning. I can learn, but I really have to listen to my body then too. In that way.
Well, it is well said that the body keeps the record.
That's right.
So in that case, the mind there has nothing to do with it, but the body is just, as you said, is reminding you that it happened.
Right, which means it remembers, even if I don't remember.
Exactly.
Which kind of freaks me out a little bit. But
well, they said the body, besides that it keeps a score, we call it that is actually the subconscious mind.
Right.
So, right. It's just right there.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel that your identity has evolved? Because I mean, that's back when you were 15, but then now you're in midlife. Do you think that it's easier for you when you're shifting identities? I mean, because through life, we go through a lot of deaths and rebirths back and forth all the time, more in midlife. But do you think it's kind of easier for you to go through that flow, or how do you manage it?
I think that a lot of people give a lot of lip service to the idea of like, oh, you should be grateful for every day. And I really feel like I was saved for a reason. I don't know what it was. Some of it is who I am to other people. Some of it is the fact that I was able to have children and I have a husband and but I wasn't only saved for them. I was saved for a greater purpose, and I don't know what it is. But I feel like that demands that I give it my best every day. The fact that I had that, and my best isn't going to look the same every day, because some days you feel crappy, and or some days you're PMSing or something. Some days you just don't feel like it, and that's okay too. But you really should try, and I feel a big responsibility because of the gift that I was given of this second life. So the midlife thing, I'm really trying to look at as another adventure. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be here every day. And I know that. So even I'm not grateful for the night sweats or anything like that, but but I'm grateful for the opportunity to grow and do things and keep learning. And that keeps me going. And I really do think that having had the experience that I had gives me a unique perspective that that you can live those things. You can live the chances and keep doing it and keep choosing something else.
Yes. Oh, this is beautiful. I love all this because it resonates with me in the fact that in the past 6 years that I've been doing more of the deeper inner work and all that now I can see all these pieces together, like what you are saying now. But I think it's such a gift. I mean, for you that you've been able to experiencing for all these many years, like having that ownership, and taking responsibility for your life, not playing the victim since you were a teenager, and and then giving the best every time, and at the same time, that not every day is the best, and sometimes you have to live with that pain, but you still keep going, and finding that beauty and that gratitude, and in life, I think it's beautiful. It think Oh, I don't know, it just gives me chills.
Reason is also, it's funny. It's not just because I like to learn things. It's a little bit out of, I don't want to say spite, but one of the one of the things that happened after I had mostly recovered. So I had gone back to school and I was doing half days of school. And then I came back one day, and then my parents were in our living room, and all of my various therapists and lawyers and I think attorneys, there was a bunch of people in this room. And my mom told me that I needed to go and do my homework or whatever, go back to my room because they were having this meeting that I didn't need to be a part of. Not that I was like banned from it, but I was 15. So I wanted to hear what was happening. So I kind of crept out of my room and was listening. And I couldn't believe my ears because what they were doing, they had a big whiteboard up, and they were writing on the board a list of all of the things that because of my brain injury, I would never be able to do in my life. Like everything that I'd never be able to do. Things that normal people do, like drive a car or graduate from high school or go to college or have a family or navigate the grocery store or anything, any like normal thing, And so I was absolutely devastated, and they didn't do it to hurt me. It was all part of the insurance thing. They were trying to figure stuff out, and they were trying to have me not hear it, but like the bottom absolutely dropped out of my throat. And I was just
Of course,
absolutely just stunned.
Yeah, because probably you wonder, why did I say I wanted to come back? Or why did I say I wanted to stay if I'm not able to do any of those things?
And all these people think that I can't do anything. This is it. This is all I get, and I wasn't moving well then. I had to have reconstructive surgery of my face 3 times. And so, I felt awful. And of course I was a teenager, so everything was huge, like everything felt enormous.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is it. You're telling me I don't get any better than this. I can't have anything in my life. And so by that time I had learned to write again, and I carried around this little notebook this little spiral notebook that I wrote down all of the names of people that I was supposed to remember. So like my teachers' names, my friends' names and stuff like that. And I carried it with me all the time. So I went back to my room and I wrote down the list, and I decided that I was going to do everything on the list because nobody was going to tell me what I was going to do.
Yes, of course not. Yay.
Right.
So it really gives you the strength. I mean, I understand that you would felt devastated. I mean, having all these adults that some of them some other ones you don't know, and they're just telling you what defining, in that case, between quotes, your life. Holy shit. Wow.
I was kind of mad for a while.
We have a super Jen here. I mean, just hear your list, it is like, let's go.
Well, I mean, none of us have a lot of time anyway. And I've done all the things on my list, all the things. I've put new things on the list and I did them too. But, I was, one of the last ones was learning to drive because I get panic attacks, and I had to take driving lessons like 3 times over the years before I could figure it out and not have panic attacks every time I got it. Even though I wasn't driving in the car, I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense. But my goal.
Well, it makes sense. You said how many times you recovered in that car. I mean, we're talking with these licenses now, but I mean, that's fucking traumatic. It's just
totally.
Your body remembers, right?
Yep. Yeah. So my goal was to get it before my oldest kid, and I made it by a week before he turned 16.
Yay!
So I don't drive a lot, but I do when I need to. And I just wanted to prove that I could.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that little like notebook or diary that you say you were carrying with you which was it the one kind of like calling you to start writing to become an author?
Yes, because once I could start like writing down the way that I felt, I wanted the other thing is it was writing and also reading. So when I was able to learn to write and read again, I wanted to have I wanted to read and I wanted to know about other people who had experiences like I'd had because I was like, I can't be the only one. And I felt so alone. I mean, you do anyway when you're like a teenager, anyway, sometimes. But so I read all of these books and I understood life a lot better when I read things because it was slower. You know, when it's out on a page, and they tell me how people feel rather than me having to guess it by looking at other people because I didn't know how I was supposed to act or, you know, all sorts of those weird interpersonal things, like when you're having a conversation, you know, the spaces between your words and things like that.
Okay.
I could do it a lot better after I'd read about it because it was slower so I could like process it all. And then I started writing because I wanted to make people understand me. So it was kind of selfish. But also I understood things better when I had read them through stories, you know, so I always liked fairy tales. You know, there's very definite beginning, middle, and end, and the people are generally good. And if they're bad, they're really bad. So it was easy for me to understand, you know, at the time. So I don't know, I just felt like that was part of what my work was to be able to learn to understand myself through writing. And then as I did it more, help other people learn to understand themselves and share what they wrote. So after many, many years after that, when I first started writing professionally, I answered an ad actually for there was a literary magazine and I answered an ad and it was in my town and they were looking for people's personal stories and I was like, okay, I can do that. So I sent it in and then I came to the meetings there and I got more and more involved. And then I decided to be a columnist there. And then I decided to buy part of it. And, and so that I I helped run this publishing company and literary magazine for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. But the reason why I loved it so much was that we were able to help other people. So part of having this literary magazine was helping other people get published who had never been published or who wanted to but didn't know how. And so we were able to help about 1,400 people get published that way. And that was
Wow.
amazing.
Of course.
That was
Yeah.
just amazing. And it helped me believe in myself because I helped these other people believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just with letting know others, like this is my story,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. And I
Giving that
think,
permission.
yes, and knowing your own story can add so much to your business, to your personal life. You know, you learn your own value when you write your own story. And you also learn maybe, I don't want to say flaws, weaker spots, you know, things where you could
Mm-hmm.
use a little support. That's a good thing to know. That's
Mm-hmm.
not a bad thing. And then you're able to look at your own life with compassion when you write your own story. You're able to, you know, kind of shepherd yourself into the version of the you that you want to be rather than only look at your flaws. So
I
that's been
love that.
it's been a real joy to be able to help other
Yeah.
people too. That's been fun.
So for that to be able to know yourself, like, do you use in that case like specific like, I don't know, questions that are gonna bring those things out? Or how do you, or at least how do you start it with you, or how are you then helping others to get to know themselves by writing?
Well, often I have people journal. I think that journaling is just, it's kind of a pain because it feels like another thing you just have to do, on your list of things you have to do. But it's actually really nice when you treat it like something fun. So I think that if you don't make it fun, it won't get done. And so
Agreed.
honestly, that's the only way. So I like to kind of ease people into writing about themselves by writing about the things that were fun for them as a child, maybe, and what were the things that
Mm.
you enjoyed doing, or in my case, as far back as you can remember. Think about the things that made you, that lit you up and were fun for you, and then maybe you can incorporate more of that into your life, and then maybe you can use those memories to kind of unlock other memories about yourself that maybe aren't as fun, things that you really feel like need to be said. So it's kind of like a good gateway,
Yeah.
the fun stuff, because you can always go back to those parts and remember, that helps you remember those parts of yourself too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I love journaling. I
Mhm.
almost kind of do it kind of like every day, or at least a few
Ooh,
times during the week.
good for you.
But as you said, it's cool. Like, well, first of all, usually it's just to express myself, like to,
Mhm.
okay, there's something like ruminating in my head. I just want it out. Or
Right,
sometimes it's like, I don't know what I'm here. And then the pen starts just flowing, right? Or
right.
if I have a question and I don't know what the answer is, then at
Mm,
one point the
that's a
answer
great one.
comes through. Oh, I love when that
Yeah,
happens. The bad thing is
that's
when I go back and I cannot understand what I wrote
there's
because
that.
because sometimes that happens. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I love it because yeah, it's a beautiful way to get to know ourselves, definitely.
Mhm.
And also like which are our patterns, which are our beliefs,
Right.
because that's
Yes.
one of the tools that I use with my clients, because it's how yeah, going deeper to what is in there so we can understand ourselves and accept
Yes.
ourselves, and then from there
Yes.
saying, yeah, this is part of me. And
Hmm.
yes, and when we get to accept it, it's when we can love ourselves at a deeper
Yes.
level.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay.
I think the other thing that I like to have people do, that people are surprised, because I think the more creative you can be in your journal and writing life, the more creative you can be in the rest of your life. So I have people draw in their journals. I have people collage, all, whatever kind of art speaks to them, carve
Mhm.
your own stamps and put them in there. I've been writing a lot of songs, stuff like that. I think that the more juicy and creative you can be on the page, that'll translate to the rest of your life. And then it translates to your writing. When you're a writer, you can put that energy into your characters or into whatever you're writing. I think it's really, really important
Yeah.
to acknowledge those parts too, the fun parts.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I do sometimes like doodles.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
totally great.
I have never thought about actually putting a collage or something in the middle. That could happen eventually. Why not?
Well, I mean, like, what if you're writing about, your next dream house or your next dream vacation or, your next dream career? Making a collage of that. Oh my gosh, that can open up so many things for you. And
That's
sometimes it's just
true.
really good to have visuals, right?
Mhm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it helps the imagination, of course. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool. I love that.
it's
Yes.
fun.
Mm. I know that in the last, I don't know, it was been this year. I mean, we have met for over a year already, but I remember you started reconnecting with your playfulness, and curiosity, and then you're part now of a band. So I would like to know how, yeah, like what brought you to do that, and then in midlife, now that your children are more of a grown-ups, and and then besides what you do with your podcast and writing and stuff, like finding this way of play for you. I would like to know more.
Well, that's a fantastic question, because here is something that I just figured out the other day. And I think one of the wonderful things about being a midlife woman, particularly, is that you can be and do all of the things that you wanted to do when you were in high school and early 20s and you didn't get to do. So I always wanted to be in a band.
Yes. Oh.
And I mean, I was trained as, my family is very musical and theatrical. My parents have a theater and stuff. And I was actually trained because the only musical kind of teachers in my area, I was trained to sing opera. So I was trained by a woman for the San Francisco Opera from when I was 12 to like 18. And it was a really good basis because it gave me a lot of, musical knowledge, but that's not what I want to do. And so I, as a midlife woman, I was kind of like, I play a lot of instruments, nothing super well. I sing really well. So I've been taking lessons because one of the things that I do in my journals is, the things that I still have on my list that I want to do. And one of them was being in a band. So I thought, okay, where's the bottom? How do I start? And in my journal, I wrote a list of, okay, so I play the ukulele. I also play the guitar and the piano a little bit, and the bass a little bit, and drums. But and a banjo. But anyway, lots of things, a little bit. But I wanted to get good at something, so I sought out a teacher in my area, and she happens to be a friend of mine. And I took lessons from her for a little bit. But she came to me actually after I mean, it took a lot of guts for me to take lessons, because I was like, who am I? I'm 48 years old. Well, I'm taking music lessons. What is this for? I'm not like trying to impress anyone. I know. Yeah. Right. I mean, I eventually got to that, but my teacher her name is Jen also. And she was like, I was trying to take her beginning class, and she's like, you aren't, all that stuff. I can't put you in that class. And I was like, oh, really? And she goes, yeah. And I can't put you in the moderate class either. I don't really have a class for you. And I was like, oh.
You were graduated before starting the class.
I guess. Yes, basically. And so we just played together for a little bit. And then after a couple of weeks, she came to me and she was like, do you want to be in a band with me? I really want to play music with you. Oh, and cool. There's this other woman who is a friend of ours, but it's neat too, because my teacher, Jen, and the other woman, her name's Becca, like we were all friends, but we weren't really close friends. And that's another thing as a midlife woman that's hard to find, is friends who, it's hard to meet people because everybody's doing their own thing and you're all so busy. But music brought us together, and our band is so much fun. We don't have an actual, well, we have a name. We aren't 100% settled, but I think our name is the Hot Flashes. One of Jen's daughter suggested it, and I was like, that's kind of great.
I love it, and I can see that that is fun, because as soon as I ask the question, you lean forward to the camera and your face just shining now.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Well, I mean, playing music is just like, it's like another language. It activates something else in your brain. And it's so weird to even explain, but like when you're playing with someone else, it's like the two of you create something on a different level, like a different cellular level. It's out there. And one of the things it's basically, we sing a lot of, so it's 3 women and 3 strings at any one time. So I play the ukulele, and I also play the banjolele, which is, it's a ukulele with a banjo head, and you play it like a ukulele, but it sounds like a banjo. So ukulele, banjolele, and Jen plays the guitar and guitar and ukulele. And then Becca plays the guitar and the mandolin. And then we have box drums and other instruments and things. But so, kind of like the music that you hear at the winery on a Sunday afternoon, or, we're like the background of the wedding, that sort of thing. But it's just like the most fun ever. We do a lot of tight harmonies, and that sounds wonderful. And it's so much, God, it's just the most magical thing to create music with another human being. I'm so grateful that I allowed that into my life. It has added so much.
Mm,
So much. I recommend it to anyone. If you're looking to find friends, go join a band. Even if you don't know how, you can learn. It's not that hard.
love it. Yes.
And, and now I play more instruments. So my goal is to fill my house with more instruments. I have so many instruments in my house. So many. I have a giant piano and
Yeah.
drum set, all sorts of things.
Wow, it's so exciting.
It's
And
fun.
have you been in a few gigs, or have you played to other people around?
Coming up at the end of the month, where is our first one. We're going to play at Becca's house. She has like a big backyard with sort of like an amphitheater sort of thing, and then we're going to play at a couple of open mics around town, and then we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
My friend Jen, who's the music teacher, she actually is a professional musician, so
Okay.
she's in several bands and she plays around town a lot. So we'll be able to do more gigs and just see where it takes us. I'm open to it all.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm so happy for you. Oh my
You,
goodness. Yeah. At
it's
least
so much fun.
yeah. And but do you also play kind of like sing, better said, kind of opera, or not at all?
No, I don't do
Okay,
that at
okay.
all.
No, I
No,
mean
that was
just in
just,
case you do it like sometimes just to have fun, because you said
oh
like,
yeah,
you know.
I could. Yeah, I
Okay,
totally
you
could.
could. Oh wow.
I could drop that into something, but I haven't yet. But we have been writing our own music, and that's been really, really fun and different. I've never written music until recently.
Hmm.
And we have one song that is really funny, and it's talking about, I mean, we're kind of leaning into the midlife
Yeah.
part of it. Something about how my hair's all frizzy and my house is a mess, and I just wish I could find where I parked, that sort of thing. You're just
Love
really
it.
silly and fun.
Yes.
It's great. I can't wait till it's done.
I bet you're gonna come with many more ideas.
We got lots of them.
Yes.
But I mean, what a gift. I never ever thought that I'd be able to do this. So it
Hmm.
makes me feel so happy to be with these women in this kind of communion. And groups of women are powerful. I don't have as many female friends as I would like. So I'm really on a mission to get more female community, because it is so enriching and joyful and supportive. You know,
Yes.
I don't meet bitchy women that are just there to pick on each other. Almost
Hmm.
every woman that you actually take the time to talk to wants to be supportive and communicate, and I love that.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, female communities, yeah, they're powerful. I mean, we meet every Thursday morning, and it's just so fun. And
Mm,
sometimes it's fun, and sometimes we're crying all together, and sometimes we just focus on one because that person needs more support or
right.
more nourishment, and it's just so beautiful. Because, and that's the thing, that we already come with this energy of collaboration, of support, and it's not
Yeah.
competition or anything. On the contrary,
Right.
we're there then to have fun, to support each other, and to see
Right.
what can what can we create together,
Yes.
right? Which is the
Yeah.
fun part.
Oh my gosh. And I feel like we make each other so much better. I feel like
We do.
my, I mean, honestly, it's like the highlight of my week. I feel so much energy just from being with you guys, and eh, just hearing what everyone else is doing. And then, like you
Mm,
say, the collaboration part, everyone's there to help everyone else and to love everyone else. And that's wonderful. It just feels so incredible.
yeah, it is. And I think also it's incredible because sometimes, well, we isolate ourselves. Well, you're married, you have kids, but then sometimes you're in your business there. I work from home, I'm
Mhm.
single, so I also like isolate myself here.
Right.
And
Hmm.
then how important it is when we come to these communities of women, and each person, they get to share something about their lives, and how many things like we are connected, or we have in similarities, not that's exactly the same, but like last Wednesday in my women's circle, there was this lady who had an open heart surgery, and she's not even 40.
My gosh.
And this other lady who's, I think she was closer to her 50s. And then she said, she also had a surgery, not to that level, but, so it's those little things. And then somebody is grieving, the loss of someone, or,
Mhm.
like I hear, like I meet a lot of immigrants here because I'm immigrant, right? And so there was
Mhm.
another lady from India who just came here like 2 years ago. So until now, she's getting to make friendships.
Cool.
So it's all these things that you are like, we don't know what people are going through. So just
Right.
having that willingness and that openness to tell her, like, yeah, come on, share. And you're in a safe place. You're not being judged. Just share your story and let's see what comes out from there. But you don't need to be fixed because you're not broken. But it's all those
Right.
things that is like, just come and share. And that's what it gives us, as you said, is it's power. It's that
Mhm.
beautiful power that comes from within just by knowing that we have women that can support us next to us.
Mhm. And also, like, I really have to admire women that ask other women, right? Like women that are vulnerable enough to say, "Hey, I would like to hear your story, and I would love to be a safe place for you." Like with your show, like you want to, and with your communities, you want to be that for other women. And
Yes.
that's so amazing. And we need more of that, I
Yeah,
think.
we definitely need more of that. Yeah. Wow. Hmm. Beautiful. Well, Jen, I would like us to tell us where people can find you.
Well, mostly I'm on Substack. It's at JB Chambers, Chambers on Substack. I'm also on Instagram at JB Chambers. And then my two podcasts are available anywhere that you get podcasts. They are Beyond the Margins with Jen Chambers and Same Crime, Different Time.
Different
There we
time.
go. It's my own podcast. I don't know.
It's
That one's it.
okay.
That one's a historical true crime podcast. And my other one is writing and inspiration and empowerment kinds of things. And I do once a year, I do an artist way workshop on that one. I also do a bunch of different writing workshops and stuff and all sorts of interviews with interesting writers and other people on that one. And I'm always available if anybody wants to drop me a line on my Instagram or on my Substack.
Yes. We're going to put all that information in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Oh, yeah. This has been such an amazing conversation. I love it so much. And I love you so much as well.
Yes, I
Yeah,
got
so
you.
exciting. And two questions before we close this conversation. The first one will be, how would you call this stage of or season of your midlife?
I think that I'm revving up. I'm not winding down. I'm revving up.
Yes,
That's
love
my
that.
season. My season is kicking it into high gear. That's where I'm at.
Love it. Go hot flashes.
That's right. See? I mean, it sounds, like a joke, but it's also true.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right.
And what's a pleasure that you enjoy the most?
Ooh, I love reading. Reading is my favorite. I also really, really I love to create stuff. I like to create things with my hands. Fiber arts is really fun for me. I do knitting and crocheting and other different kinds of fiber arts. I do a lot of different kinds of art. Actually, tomorrow I'm doing a workshop at my local library where we're making art cards that we're going to trade. They're like I supply these pieces they're like baseball card size pieces of paper,
Uh-huh.
like that. And then they are in all different colors. And then you draw on them with chalk, or you paint them, or you collage them, or you put stickers on, or emboss them, whatever you want. And then the idea is during this afternoon, you make 5 or 10 different little art cards, and then you trade. So everybody
Oh, awesome.
comes out with, if you make 10, you come back with 10 different cool pieces of art from other people.
Mm-hmm. That's so fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great time. I've done it by mail before, but I just
Mm-hmm.
thought it would be where you just sent them in and then the organizer mixed them up and sent you. And that's definitely fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it would be great to do it
In
in person.
person. Yeah,
just
because I think, I don't know, is everyone bringing their own material so you can
no, we
exchange
supply it.
things? Oh, you
We
supply
supply
it.
it. They
Okay,
can
but
bring anything they want too if
uh-huh.
they want. But we're gonna have
Yeah,
all sorts of like, stickers and paints and chalk and anything. And
yeah.
then I supply the papers and like if you really have something, so like I'm gonna make 20 or so when I come in just to show as examples. So the
Mhm.
ones I like to do, I take pieces from old books and I, decoupage them on there and glue them on with like pieces of lace and things. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an artist. And I think that's why it's accessible because you don't have to be an artist. It's
The thing
still
is,
a cool art.
I think that everyone is an artist.
I think so too.
I mean, we have this imagination, we have these hands. I think everyone, it's just our limiting, you know,
Right.
mind, or according to the whatever definition of someone. But
hmm
we are all creators.
hmm
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So I'm really, it's new to me to embrace that, I'm not a trained artist, but I can make stuff just like anybody else. And it's fun and it's okay for it to just be fun. Nobody is thinking that we're going to go home and put it on the Louvre or in the Louvre.
Yeah.
It just looks really cool up in front of my desk to have these 10 different cool pieces of art that people I know made. That's
Mhm.
wonderful. I'm excited.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. I'm gonna make a very last question because I'm still curious. Which other stuff you have in your bucket list that you still have kind of like
Oh,
pending, or or something that you're looking forward
right.
to, yeah, to achieve
Uh-huh.
soon, or
Well, okay, that's funny because it's something that I used to have on my list. So my first book was selected for the Iowa Summer Writing Program and it was workshopped there. And that was so exciting for me at the time. And after that, I went to writing conference, my first big writing conference in Hawaii, actually. And I thought it was my first book and it's my, I just started, but I was like, this is it. I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. So
so it is.
right. And so, well, now, and so I got an agent there and I was so scared because I didn't believe enough in myself. I didn't follow through and the agent dropped me. And I don't blame her because I didn't do what I said I would do. I didn't send her the stuff. I was terrified. But I think now I'm ready. I'm ready to bring that dream back. And I'm going to, pursue writing on a larger scale. I think I'm ready for that. And I think that's where I'm going next. Actually, one of my other books was selected to be a Hallmark movie once, but then it never got made. And so I'm like, okay, those are two things that I'm working on those
Yes.
next. We'll
So
see.
excited for you. Oh yeah. Oh,
We'll
awesome.
see. Thanks.
So exciting. Well, again, Jen, thank you so much. A pleasure having you here. And I'm sure whatever it is in that list, you're gonna keep checking and checking and checking.
That's my plan. That's my plan. Thank you
Yes.
so much for having me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Midlife Butterfly. I hope this episode empowered you in some way. Share the love by hitting follow wherever you're listening and leave a review if you feel inspired. I also love to connect with you. Come say hi on Instagram at Midlife Butterfly. I love to know you. Until next time, keep spreading those wings and live in joy, growth, and pleasure.